Good morning. It is 7:55 a.m. on Thursday, June 18th, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, big development for Rocket yesterday. I had heard a rumor that turned out to be true, which was that the dog park that is very near where I live uh, reopened yesterday, and it still has a sign that says, masks are required, stay 6 feet apart, etc., etc. Although, there's no one there to make sure that happens. Like, it's about half and half, I think, people wearing masks versus not. I was wearing a mask. But the dog park opened, so Rocket got to visit the dog park for the very first time because they closed it when he was still too young and he didn't have all his shots yet. So got to go to the dog park for the first time yesterday, and that's great because there just hadn't really been that many opportunities for him to be able to get to just run full out, much less have extended off-leash play with multiple other dogs, and he did great. I was a little worried about, we kind of bypassed a normal socialization period. Um, I was a little worried about that, but I had kind of been proactive at trying to help him, encounter other dogs and people while we were walking before, even if it wasn't off leash. And thankfully, although he was certainly continued, his approach, his move for other dogs tends to be get down on my belly and creep towards them like a little inchworm until I'm ready to strike, at which point I will jump on their face. And he pretty much continued that path and seems to get along reasonably well with the other dogs there, and it went great. And then he was very tired. Although, certainly, on the way home, he was tired in the way that is like, I'm walking so slowly, panting so hard, couldn't possibly take another step. Oh, how cruel a fate to have a mother who insists on dragging me when I am too weary to go on. And then he'll see another dog further down the path and say, oh, no, I'm okay now. Let's go say hi to that dog. Yeah. So, so that was very cute. I did post on Twitter yesterday a little bit of a video of him just running around in the dog park. It was very cute. He's a good boy. So I'm happy that that's open now, and we'll probably be doing that a little bit more. Um, Although I have to be careful because there could be a tendency. You see, like, taking him for walks is exercise for me also. Just trying, keeping me active instead of just being home all the time. So, it would be easy. The dog park is closer than some of the other routes that we walk. So, if I just were to take him there every time, it might get him lots of exercise, but me less. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. Some dog parks sometimes, other walks other times. I think keep it mixed up. That's a good idea. I do have to go back to carrying training treats with me a little bit more regularly, just because his leash behavior is deteriorating a little bit, without having kept up the consistent training. So we need to get back on that. But in the meantime, yeah, that's where that is. Um, uh, Gosh, what else to talk about? I've been rewatching the MCU movies, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the yesterday that meant I've been watching them all in release order, and so yesterday I rewatched Avengers Infinity War, which, I don't know, I had kind of this little bit of a feeling of hesitation. Like, I had already seen it more than once. Like, I saw it when it was new in the theater, and then I also had rewatched it at another point since then. But just in terms of rewatching it, was the one that didn't maybe feel in my head like it was as fun because obviously I'm not going to worry about spoiling this movie at this point, but yeah, they lose at the end, and uh, it just makes me think about how I wonder how it might have felt for people who were really invested in the MCU but really didn't see it coming that Thanos was going to get to do the snap. I mean, I felt like I felt like there wasn't a time where I didn't know that that was going to happen, and maybe that comes from knowing some of the comic books history of the Infinity Gauntlet series. But uh, so I guess I just sort of always knew that um, that's what was going to happen. And in fact, actually, there is a little bit of a fake out in that movie because it looks like they successfully destroyed the Mind Gem at the cost of Vision's life, keeping it out of Thanos' hands. And at that point, I was like, "Huh? What? That's confusing. How does that work?" But then, of course, he uses the time gem to rewind time, and it's like, poor Wanda, man. Actually, it's in some ways it's similar to how it goes with Peter. Is like builds it all up to the decision of him feeling like he's going to honor Gamora's request to kill her rather than let her fall into Thanos' hands, only to discover that Thanos was just toying with him all along and it didn't help at all, only to have her then get killed anyway. So it's like I'm one of the people who defends Peter a little bit. Not that it wasn't still the wrong move objectively to start punching Thanos and wake him up and prevent the others from taking his gauntlet, but just in the sense of he was so wrapped up in everything was going on that he behaved irrationally for a little while, and I feel like I get it. Anyway, I'll go ahead and leave it there. I could just talk about Marvel Cinematic Universe all day, I suppose. But I'll leave it there, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.